Thank you for your time. Back to you, Arwyn.
Thank you very much, James. Well, we've heard a lot this morning from prospective MPs. Another candidate in next year's general election is Carrie Harper. She's standing for the party in Wrexham and spoke yesterday.
We're preparing now for the next stage in our journey as a Welsh nation. And today I'd like to ask all of you to consider the choices that are open to us at this junction and the urgency for us to grasp these opportunities as they're opening up before us. Another Wales is possible. Actually, it's tangible. But it's not inevitable. Whether or not we realise our potential as a nation is quite simply up to us. The next steps in our journey won't be easy. There'll be many challenges ahead. But at the end of this road, we will have achieved something extraordinary. A confident nation, communities that are energised, engaged and enthused. A people who are inspired by the ideas and the possibilities that taking a different path can offer. And we will make sure the people of Wales know that there is another way and that we don't have to settle for the status quo anymore. Because it's not good enough that in 2014, 1 in 3 children in Wales are living in poverty. Those are the figures released by the End Child Poverty campaign just last week. And for the ward I represent, the Queensway ward in my community of Carrie Park, those figures show that almost half the children in that ward are living in poverty. Half. Now, no one can tell me that there's any excuse in 2014 why any ward in Wales should have those kind of figures. It's time priorities in Wales changed, and we gave the most vulnerable in our communities all the opportunities they deserve. Because in other areas too, it seems that we are constantly at the bottom of one list or another. We are the poorest nation in Western Europe. We have some of the worst educational results in the UK. Several of our health services are close to collapse. This is the result of generations of Labour and Tory governments in London who prioritise their new nukes and bailing out the banks rather than committing to reduce the grotesque and blatant inequality across Great Britain. They have failed us. And what of our Welsh Government, who don't even seem to understand what the Welsh interest is? Our leaders in Cardiff are complacent about our country. They take us for granted. They've got no energy, no ambition. The Labour Party in Wales has run out of steam. It's out of ideas and it's got no vision. It's certainly in no condition to fight the onslaught of a Tory government in Westminster intent on decimating our communities once again. And as we know, the Labour Party in Wales is nothing more than a chip off the old block, inspiring about as much enthusiasm here as its lacklustre leader, Mr Miliband, is across the rest of the UK. This type of tired politics deserves nothing more than to be put out of its misery as soon as possible. We deserve better. And before too long, the people of Wales will be demanding better. The political ground is already shifting. Following the recent referendum campaign in Scotland, we've seen what a new kind of politics can look like. It's vibrant, it's creative, and it's engaging. It's not just a political movement, but a social one too. And even after a no vote, it shows no sign of being put back in its box. Now, of course, in Wales, we're on our own journey. We don't follow an identical path. But there's no doubt that our ambitions to re-energise our democracy for a fairer nation that values all in society and puts more power in the hands of the people of Wales ensures that we are certainly moving in a similar direction. We can take inspiration from those in Scotland who faced a similar challenge to the one we're confronted with in Wales now, and be sure that we can and will do what needs to be done. Because politics is about choices. It's about values and priorities. And our values in Wales are different to those of the London parties. We don't want to demonise the poor while the rich get richer. We don't want to attack the most vulnerable in our society. And we don't want to see these grotesque levels of inequality in our communities. We need to go in a different direction, and we need to do it sooner rather than later. When we have such shameful levels of child poverty in Wales, why are the UK government spending £4.7 billion of Welsh taxpayers' money on renewing the Trident nuclear programme? Instead, that money could be invested into eradicating child poverty. And let's shed our poorest nation in Western Europe tag by implementing policies like a living wage, which will mean a pay rise for 250,000 Welsh workers and directly improve people's quality of life. Let's also show the world that we can be leaders in the field of education by addressing the root of the problem and breaking the link between poverty and poor attainment. If we put people first, if we genuinely put communities first, if we ensure equality of opportunity across Wales, then we will see educational attainment soar. It's up to us to inspire people to build something better and to get a clear message out there that only Plaid Cymru will always have the interests of Wales at the top of our agenda. We are the party of Wales, the party of the millions, not the millionaires. We have the answers, and we have a bright vision for Wales which will empower our people. We've proved our worth and our conviction up and down the country, always acting in the Welsh interest and leading and supporting local and national campaigns, both to protect and to build our communities. When we talk about creating a better Wales, communities across the country know that our words aren't empty. They know that we will stand by their side. So let's take our message out there with confidence. We have an opportunity now to steer the course of our beautiful little nation. And we've got a platform, thanks to the work of those who've gone before and the hard work we all do, day after day, in our own communities. So let's snatch this opportunity to create a better Wales, a fairer Wales, because it's up to us. Let's make sure that every person, from Wrexham to the Rhondda, hears our message loud and clear. Another Wales is possible. Another Wales is on its way. And Plaid Cymru won't settle for anything less. So stand with us, and let's show this London elite what a party of the people actually looks like. Diolch yn fawr.
That's Carrie Harper. Now, community healthcare was one of the discussions on the conference floor yesterday. The party's health spokesperson